Good morning, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. Today we're going to do a twin flame reading. Okay, so as always, masculines on the left, feminines on the right, and union energies down the center. So I'm by the beach, hence beach time. There may be a lot of background noise. There may be none. Who knows? That's just a heads up. Okay, Spirit. Deep breaths, everyone. Let's take a moment to ground. Spirit, thank you for being with us. What do we need to know? What are the masculines confronting? What do we need to know? That's too many. Please be specific. Please be specific. Anything for the masculines? Thank you. All right. It's making sense to me that we have repeats from yesterday. We just did a masculine reading yesterday. Oh my goodness, masculines keep getting the same cards and clarity. You've gotten these cards before, masculines. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the setup. And for feminines, thank you. We have friendship in reverse. We have strength. We have prosperity. And we have trust. Feminines, I think you got the same, something similar the other day around, I remember because I said trim the fat, that feminines are taking more care and discernment with who they surround their time with. Cutting out people, places, and things that no longer serve. Listen, life is too short. If you're in any way, drained from hanging out with certain people or surrounding yourself in certain environments, it's time to cut it out. Okay, and for union energies, what do we need to know? Thank you. All right, we have grieving, we have financial health, and we have closure. Whew. Okay, what's showing up here is that the feminines and masculines are reaching a critical mass of sovereignty where they no longer need to attach their worth to another person, place, or thing. This is a really profound rite of passage, an evolutionary cycle. Yeah, some of you might be grieving who or what you're saying goodbye to. Some of you might be letting go of the parts of self that needed something from these things, from these people. And, when we bring closure to something, there is oftentimes a grieving process that needs to happen. And I think a lot of us tend to shut that down. So right now, for all of us, it's really important for collective energy that you appropriately honor your time with someone or something, give it the credit that it's due, and release it with love. This is not a time, you've done more healing on yourself, feminines and masculines, to know that releasing things in anger or in, any sort of lower frequency energy is not useful. It actually harms you as much as it harms the other person. So you're being called to take radical accountability for these fragmented places where, love still needs to grow. I'm saying it in a nice way, but it's like, hold on. There's something else coming through. Yeah, it's very interesting to me also that we have this closure around these whatever cycles that kept us stuck. We're having an honoring ceremony, almost like a death ritual of all of these things that are ending in our lives. But what's really fascinating here is we have financial health. Now, this continues to come up, especially for feminines, but for everyone. Let me be even more precise. Financial health and wellness is coming up for feminines, but root chakra stuff is also coming up for masculines. So it's like in the same family, in the same vicinity of work, which anytime I see the masculine and feminine work starting to mirror one another, to me, that means we're coming closer into some sort of I don't want to say union, but it feels that way. It's like it's a nod to union. We have to remember that every time you as an individual ascends, every time you do something that you never could do before, or you hold your center for love in chaos and anger and panic or whatever, that maybe you've never been able to do that before, it gives your masculine confidence, stability. It nurtures the foundation so that they can do the work that they need to do without worrying about you. We have to remember that when you ascend, the couple ascends. And I don't want to, God, I never say couple. I don't know why that just came out of my mouth. When your internal feminine rises, your internal masculine rises. When your internal feminine rises, your external feminine rises, and external masculine rises. Like, I'm trying to just hammer this idea that there is nothing other than oneness. So when you step into your sovereignty, it nourishes an appropriate environment for your masculine to step into their sovereignty. Do you see how this starts to work? That the mirroring starts to happen, and one begets the other. It's a very powerful thing. Wow. Okay. I just happened to look. What's in the unconscious position is truth in reverse. When we have a reversal in the unconscious position, this is a false shadow, meaning the truth that you think you've been waiting for, feminine and masculines, is not going to be what you think it is. So start babysitting the parts of self that are attaching and projecting on a specific outcome or a specific expectation. You are meant to let that go, because again, this is not going to look like what you thought it was going to look like. So you're being called to surrender what you've been waiting for, whatever truth you think you're waiting to come in. It's time to let it be and let it go, because your energy can better be utilized in the present moment. You need your strength. Let me say it like this. You need your strength to get all of your attention, awareness, and energy in present time. And when you're thinking about, when you're having an expectation, or when you're wanting someone to say something specific about the past, you are either worrying about the past or stressed about the future. And if that future doesn't look exactly like you thought it would in your mind, then you're going to be disappointed, right? Remember, attachment is suffering. Whew. Okay, sorry, I got very distracted right there. Yeah, let's get some animal cards. Hold on. This is a huge, huge deck, and it takes me a minute to shuffle. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Let's get some support for masculines. For masculines, please. Thank you so much. We'll take all of these. We have Koi Fish Spirit. There is always enough. Yeah, masculines, really take care of yourself and check yourself if you're feeling scarcity in any way. Scarcity financially, scarcity in terms of safety, scarcity in terms of love. You know, one of the biggest things that sabotages conscious relating is this false sense of urgency. I'm here to tell you, and I think everyone should write this on a post-it, urgency is an illusion. There are very few places in life where there's a true emergency, where the urgency is actually warranted. But, you know, when you have a big to-do list and you catch yourself rushing, it's usually not the end of the world if you just slow your breath, take some time. You can move fast through the world while feeling and thinking slowly, right? This isn't about, sitting on your butt and not doing anything. This is you're being asked, how much consciousness, masculines, and intention can you bring to the present moment? So you're being also called to remind yourself that there's always enough. You always have an abundance of possibility waiting for you. Something else is coming up. Oh, thank you, Spirit. So yesterday's reading, what was in the shadow position, I think, I think I remember this correctly, was abundance was in the unconscious position, and it was a shadow position, meaning masculines, I'm reminding you that your abundance is not going to be what you think it is. You're going to be so deliciously, delightfully surprised by the gift the universe has to give you. And many people have said this. I'm going to be another one of them. But you can't F up what's meant for you. You can't mess it up. One of my spiritual mentors always says, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Meaning, the right person is going to give you enough space to be your divinely fallible human self. They're not going to hold it against you, because that's not what love does. Okay. Okay, masculines. I should have looked at these cards before I went off on this whole tangent. We have this cow spirit. The miracles are endless. Yes, it's another nod to abundance. You don't have to be in scarcity. You don't have to glorify a miracle. You don't have to put these miracles on a pedestal, because when we put anything on a pedestal, we separate it from self. We feel unworthy of that thing, so we put it above us, right? Catch yourself, masculines. And then we have, you see clearly now, owl spirit. Owl spirit, I mean, come on. For me, owl spirit is this divine gnosis, this divine wisdom, and this owl is crowned. I mean, we can't get more literal than this. Another part of this seeing clearly is that masculines, again, I'm going to remind you in almost every reading to embrace your inner feminine. Your inner feminine holds the key to your masculine exaltation. Your inner feminine holds the key to you getting back on your throne so that you can embody this God frequency, this Christ consciousness. Ooh, that was a mouthful. Okay, for feminine spirit, thank you so much. These are amazing messages. Ooh, I'm dropping things on the floor. Bear with me. Okay, we have rabbit spirit. Now is a lucky time. Wonderful. And we have dolphin spirit. This and that are true. Oh my God, I love that. One of my spiritual mentors, Carolyn Mace, I'm sure many of you have heard of her, and I also don't shut up about her because she's like my core pillar of wisdom. Not the only one, of course. We have to diversify on this path and taste different knowledge to see what really comes alive in us. Anyway, this and that are true. She always talks about this antinomial position where both things can be true at the same time. This is really important. Feminines, this is reminding me actually a few months ago, one of the things that came up for us, excuse me, hold on, I'm shutting this window because people are doing yard work. Apologies. A couple months ago, feminines, we were being called to call in more flexibility and to be less rigid. And this is a nod to that time. You know, those messages were so consistent for so many months, and then they paused. And now we're back to this. Again, surrendering and trusting in your intuition, trusting that you've reached a critical mass of this work. Any of my close friends who I do this work intimately with know that I call it work. I call it the sacred work because that's what it is. It's hard. And I think, some people have said to me, oh, I don't want to call it work because then it implies that it's hard. I'm like, well, it also is hard. So let's honor. I think it's kinder to self to honor how difficult it is to overcome and break patterns, overcome parts of self, break patterns that we've had since we were kids, or maybe even our ancestors had. Where was I? I'm getting off track. Okay, now is a lucky time. So trust in your intuition, trust in the prosperity that's coming, that's unfurling for you. Just like a bud unfurls into a full-blown flower, trust that you have a critical mass of skills, tools, techniques. You know how to calm your emotional storm. You know how to calm your anxiety. You know how to yank yourself out of a depression or a dark night of the soul. Or you, at minimum, know that sometimes we don't have to fix ourselves. Sometimes the greatest thing we can do for self is to companion the parts of self that are in a profound process. right? Sometimes we're actually, I was about to say something, but I'm thinking first, do I believe this before I say it? Let me just speak from my heart and vulnerably, because that's my North Star. That always brings me back home. You know, and for some reason I'm getting emotional. I could feel it rising. You know, this work is so difficult. And what I have found is that most of the time there's nothing to fix. Most of the time we are being called to learn how to be present with these dark and shadowy parts of self, with the parts of self that we don't think are worthy, right? With the parts of self that maybe some other people told us are not worthy, that we should hide these parts of self. So really, you don't have to fix any part of this journey. You just have to sustain it. You just have to hold your center for love while this vortex of chaos swirls around you. I didn't stress it enough, feminines, but as you learn to cut out these people, these friendships, these relationships that, you know, drain your energy, your prosperity is going to pool. It's like when you plug a hole in a bucket. Your energy will start to, sorry, I'm super distracted and there's a tractor going by, so bear with me. Okay, thank you for your patience for that. Beach life, you never know what's going to drive by. As when you cut the cords to these certain people, places, and things, it's like plugging a hole in a bucket. All of a sudden, the bucket becomes useful again. You can fill it up. You can use it for many different things. Just pay attention. Understand that this is a very lucky, prosperous time for you, but don't fall into unworthiness right now. Understand that you've earned your place to be here. You are enough as you are. You are worthy. You are stepping into your spiritual gifts. Maybe some of you are having big career changes or opportunities. Just let yourself enjoy it. Do not try to psychoanalyze it. Stay out of your head. Stay in your body. Stay present and conscious, open, awake, and aware, okay? Woo! Okay, that was a lot for feminines. Thank you for union energies. Let's see union energies. Crow spirit, co-create with spirit. Okay, a message is coming through on feminines and masculines. Remember, this is union energy. On the other side of letting go of this grief, you are going to have an upspring from the divine. You are going to get, like, you know, downloads that make sense. You are going to rediscover the missing puzzle pieces of whatever this thing is that's been holding you back. And we have spider spirit. Make your dreams real. Let me just see what's in the unconscious. I have a whole story to tell you, but I just want to check to see what we're doing here. We have lizard spirit, dream the world into being. Yeah, there's all of this. Really, I'm getting emotional because there's, we've done so much work, feminines and masculines. We have continued to show up, continued to ask another question, gotten up after we've fallen down over and over and over again, dared to show up with integrity, with vulnerability in our most authentic self-expression. And the message I'm getting is that collectively, we've done enough work on both sides of the street where we are reaching a critical mass of creation. I've never said that phrase before. It's really beautiful that we actually have within us, we've done enough, and we get to pause and enjoy the fruits of our labor. I don't know why I'm so emotional about that. I think it's just exhausting. And I think a lot of people who have been doing this work for many years, decades, whatever. Yeah, let's be honest. You're so used to the arduous nature of the work that you sometimes feel like that this is life. Like, this is how it's going to be. And then you have a moment of clarity. You have a divine moment of a divine revelation where all of a sudden you put down the weight that you've been carrying, or the divine lifts that weight off of you, and you have all this gratitude flood your circuitry, and you're aware, you're like, oh, right, this is how life is supposed to be, or this is how life gets to be. It can be this way. It's a really, really beautiful, beautiful message. I'm getting all whimpery. Let's get some spiritual guidance messages. I love these cards. All right. What else we got, Spirit? What else we working with? What do we need to know for union energies? What would be delicious for our ears to hear right now? Even just sharing that with you, even kind of dispelling or expelling rather a little bit of that emotional energy, I feel a release. I feel a calm. And maybe at the end of this reading, oh, we got another tractor coming by and a golf cart. Thank you, Spirit. Maybe at the end of this reading, I'll show you that I'm also looking at the ocean as well. There's something really powerful about doing these readings by the ocean. The energy feels so crisp and clean. Like the messages are clean, the energy is clean, there's no doubt. All right, where are we at, Spirit? Where are we at? Okay. We have be proud. It's time to celebrate all that you've achieved, all that you are, and all that you will become. Every once in a while, it's important to stop and acknowledge what you've achieved and to be proud. Didn't I just say this? That feminines and masculines, we've reached a critical mass of the work so that we can actually pause and enjoy the fruits of our labor. And then we have a child's love. The love between a parent and child is one of the most precious and deep connections we make during our time on earth. Children start out as part of us, and from their first cries, they establish themselves as the biggest part of our hearts. This is a nod to the inner child and also the spirit of children. It's a nod to a beginner's mind, to remind us to approach the world through the eye of a child, with such profound presence and curiosity, without judgment, without fear of criticism, rejection, fear of retaliation, whatever it might be. Ooh, great reading. Great reading. Let's end on one of these Whispering Woods cards. Anything else, Spirit? Thank you so much. We're going to take both of these. That was a weird situation. Okay, let's start here. We have teach, inspire others, and let nature be your greatest teacher. And the night, find comfort in the night where the world switches off and the stars burn bright. Again, this is a nod to being able to hold our center for love in darkness. Now, this is a muscle that we need to flex, because when you first start, imagine like a confrontation when you're having, like, say someone comes at you and they're screaming and yelling at you. Yeah, it's a little jarring. Your nervous system might all of a sudden go into protection mode because you're like, what's happening? Like, it wants to protect you. And that's a normal response. However, when we start to be in that response all the time, we start to, be dysregulated from natural world events. We are in this hyper vigilant, hyper aroused state. I'm confusing hyper and hypo, so I'll have to look that up, but forgive me if I use the wrong one. But regardless, it doesn't matter. We are stepping into the role of teaching these parts of self how to hold our center for love in chaos. And it's funny because I'm very drawn to this teach card, inspire others and let nature be your greatest teacher. This is not a call for action. No, masculines and feminines. This is a call to pause. You're on vacation right now. It's time to celebrate the distance you have traveled, to be proud of all of the work you've done. So this is an invitation to not worry about your work in the world, not worry about your soul mission, not worry about the impact you're having, because let me tell you the life hack, the secret trapdoor to affecting great change in the world is to be the embodiment of that change. Your elevated frequency will affect far greater change than you as a physical being taking individual actions ever can. We have no way to quantify how much our energetic imprint ripples out and who or what it affects. We have no way to quantify it. It's infinite. It literally, like, we can't even fathom how our little kind word to someone in line at the grocery store, or complimenting someone. I don't know why I'm tearing up. I think I'm just inspired and overcome by the remembrance of just how powerful we are. I'm going to leave it there. I've never ended a video crying before, I don't think, not to my knowledge. Okay, shaking it off, vibrating the emotional body to come back into regulation. I hope this was supportive. It was such a beautiful reading. I'm sending you all so much love, and I'll see you in the next one.